Okay, this is some homemade thick impasto, acrylic, whatever, basically powder paints mixed with PVA glue. What I want now is just to get texture. I'm going to go for that effect, thick paint. Ever since the Renaissance, fine artists have been primarily concerned with representing a visual reality, photographic reality. Obviously, the invention of perspective, you know, created that effect where art simply had to reproduce photographic reality. Obviously, in the 19th century, with the advent of photography and technology, there was a need for a newer type of art. And the likes of Cézanne, Matisse, Picasso, they were the ones who started to explore different forms of expression, to be later be exploited by the likes of Jackson Pollock, all the American expressionists, abstract expressionists, de Kooning, loads of different painters. Okay, I'm going to leave that there for now. It's already creating a sort of a wavy effect, but I've got no reference to a wave. It just happens to be there, but I'm looking at how the colour, the texture of the paint works in the overall composition. I like this paint because it's got such a gooey feel to it. Now, I don't know what I'm going to do with it, but I'm just letting myself be, I don't know, taken by the material. And like I said, this painting is already ready. It could be ready, could be displayed anywhere. It's just how far I want to take it. And I might even take it too far and spoil it, but it's, I mean, something that each person has to individually decide. Look at that blue going into it now. Do I want it there? That's my choice. And that's what it's all about. There's nothing more. People always say, you know, and what's good, what's bad. Just let yourself be seduced by the colours, the textures, the effect. And imagine this hanging on your wall, if you're that way inclined. Obviously, if you're classically inclined, there's no way you're going to put this on your wall. But I would, and I do. I love that texture. You see that effect when it just scratches away at the surface? And there's no reason why you can't just, for argument's sake, do something like that. See, this is all happening as we speak. None of this has been planned. Now, another material I'm going to try. This is oil stick. It's actually oil paint on a stick. There was this painter Basquiat, whom I love, whose work I really like. He used to do this, and this allows you to actually draw with oil paint. So let's say I just want to do that sort of effect. How interesting. Okay, that's pure oil paint. Now, ideally, if that was dry, I would draw over it. See what happens. Yeah, let's go for it. Let's risk it. That is a pure lemon yellow. I love that color. And how it works over the acrylic. This is another thing that the abstract expressionists used to do. The first time I saw it was on a film by Jackson Pollock, or about Jackson Pollock. The guy used to paint straight from the tube. Again, expensive exercise to do, but it creates a certain effects. Let's see what happens. You know, you just squeeze the tube. And obviously, like I said, it's expensive. Again, you can use fingers. See? Anything goes. And another thing that's interesting to note, this painting can be viewed whichever way you like. At the end of the day, the artist decides what's up and down. Or if there is an up and down, why not have a painting that you can turn around? You're just talking about pure color, so it doesn't matter. Or maybe it does matter, depends on how it is presented by the artist. And that when it dries as is, as a blob, which further adds to the effect. So again, try things out. I mean, I'm going to use more stuff now, so we're going to try and then really invent stuff here. Let's see what it takes us. Now I'm going to use powder paints, but I want the effect of the powder as it hits the canvas. I'm going to try with PVA glue. Basically, put a drop of PVA glue and then put the powder paint on top and hope it sticks in that way. But that way, I might be able to get an authentic look. Because we're going to start with blue, I'm just going to put a drop there. Okay. And then see what happens. This is powder paint, similar to what they use in school. You just, leave that like that with that effect. See what happens. And when it dries, it should be like a blob of powder. It might need some mixing. I don't know, I'll use my fingers, see what happens there. Even that could add to the effect. See, that's what I was after. It's like an explosion. Obviously, if you're going to use powder paints, get the effect of powder. When this dries up, it's going to look like someone's dropped a bomb of powder paint on the painting. So it's becoming dynamic now. The interesting thing about abstract art, what makes it for me probably the hardest type of art, is that because there's nothing to grab hold on, as in a representational painting where you're painting something, you're painting a landscape, a church or a person, you know when you're getting there photographically close, you know when the painting is nearly done, you can tell. And you could spoil it by going over the top. With abstract painting, it's very hard to know. I mean, as I see it, this painting is probably finished now. I'm just going to carry on for argument's sake, but it's probably finished. Okay, following the same rationale, what I was saying before, seeing that bomb effect in the corner, it's somehow telling me to do the same on the opposite end. But this is a purely intuitive feeling. It's asking me to throw it back to the other end. That's how I interpret art. So I'm just going to try the same effect and see if I get the same effect. Putting a blob of powder of PVA glue there, mixed up 50-50 with water. And then it's like answering that bomb over there. Hopefully that's the effect I want to get. This is now the yellow powder paint. A recipe like using, spices in a dish. Now this is purely intuitive. Let's see what happens. Slightly less dramatic effect. See, the yellow's a lighter colour. And don't try this at home. It's messy. Seeing that I have some spare PVA glue, I've just thought